The Xiaomi Pad 6 has finally hit international shelves, and if you're in the market for a well-priced tablet that can do it all, it doesn't get much better than this. And this year, Xiaomi's latest tablet is all about extra accessories, but we'll get to those a little bit later on. The pad itself boasts a ton of heavy-hitting specs, such as a WQHD Plus display with a 144Hz refresh rate, a flagship chipset, a massive 8840 mAh battery, a quad speaker system, and software features that will blow your mind. In addition to the device itself, you'll find a 3-amp charging cable in the box alongside a 33-watt charging brick. This is TechNick, and this is my extremely detailed review of the Xiaomi Pad 6. Unfortunately, the Pad 6 Pro skips an international release, so the regular Pad 6 is the best model you can actually get your hands on, and it starts at an impressive price of just $379 US. And just as I mentioned at the start, Xiaomi has gone all out in terms of accessories. There's a magnetic cover, a magnetic keyboard cover, and the new 2nd generation Smart Pen. The magnetic cover comes in at just $17 US and is made from an artificial leather-like material which feels solid and is soft to the touch. It of course has magnets which clamp onto the back of the Pad 6, as well as magnets to keep it attached to the display when it's not in use. The cover also has an option to fold into a triangle in order to keep your tablet in an upright position, which is perfect for productivity and entertainment. The magnetic keyboard is priced at $99 US and comes in some premium packaging. It features 64 keys and offers plenty shortcut functions, which we'll go on a little bit later on in the video, and just like the magnetic cover, the keyboard also clamps onto the back of the Pad 6 with magnets. The keyboard is connected to the device with 3 pogo pins for a direct low latency connection, and there is a magnetic cutout just above the keyboard to keep the tablet propped up for that laptop-like feel. And lastly, we have the 2nd generation Xiaomi Smart Pen, which costs the same $99 US. It has 2 shortcut buttons, which we will get to a little later, boasts 4096 pressure sensitivity levels, lasts for up to 150 hours on a full charge, and a 1-minute charge will get you 7 hours worth of battery. Speaking of charging, it also makes use of magnets to keep it clamped on top of your tablet for ease of access and doubles up as a magnetic charger. These new accessories are no doubt the way to go if you're planning on picking up a Xiaomi Pad 6. We'll get to all their features later on, but for now it's time to focus on the Pad 6 itself, starting with that simplistic yet elegant design. The first thing you'll notice on its backplate is its camera module, which is the exact design of the Xiaomi 13 series smartphones. It's a really nice touch, but of course lacks the camera capabilities of Xiaomi's top-end smartphones, since the Pad 6 only offers a single 13 megapixel camera sensor on its back, which in all fairness does a more than decent job, especially in terms of white balance. And since it's a tablet, it's not exactly built for photographers, but it still takes more than good enough photos and can even zoom in digitally up to 10 times zoom. You can of course also use that main camera sensor to record video at 1080p resolution, which comes out silky smooth thanks to having a 60 FPS option, but it does unfortunately suffer from slight focusing issues. There is also a 4K video mode option, which is good to see, and while it's a lot more clear, the frame rate is capped at 30 FPS when recording at 4K. That squared off camera module sits on an aluminum alloy backplate, which you can pick up in 3 different colors, that being gravity gray, gold, or the color which I have known as mist blue. The color of its back also matches the flat-edged aluminum side frames. The Pad 6 comes in at just 6.51mm thick, which is thinner than most tablets of this size, and weighs in at just 490 grams, which is very light for an 11-inch tablet. As mentioned earlier, the back is made from aluminum, but the display is made from glass, which boasts Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The display itself is a massive 11-inch screen with symmetrical bezels wrapping around it, and sitting within the top bezel if you're holding the tablet in landscape is an 8-megapixel selfie camera, which allows for some decent selfie photos during the day and can even shoot 1080p resolution selfie video.
What's up guys, this is TechNick recording a 1080p 60 FPS selfie video on the brand new global variant of the Xiaomi Pad 6. So it's going to be great for conference calls as well as video calls using just general social media apps, because this thing is paired with for microphones.
Going back to that display, it's a high quality 11-inch IPS LCD screen which boasts a higher 309 ppi thanks to its upgraded WQHD+ resolution. It's capable of displaying over a billion colors and 99% of the DCI-P3 color space, not to mention it supports Dolby Vision, HDR10, HDR10+, and Widevine L1 content. It also packs in a whopping 144Hz refresh rate with options for 60 and 90Hz as well if you would like to squeeze out a few more hours of battery life. And if you really care about battery consumption, you'll be happy to hear that the screen can dynamically adjust between 30 and 144Hz refresh rates when set to default. Not to mention it also manages to provide a 240Hz touch sampling rate. There's also been a slight bump in brightness this time round, which is now capable of reaching 550 nits as opposed to last year's 478 nits of peak brightness. When it comes to software, the Xiaomi Pad 6 makes use of MIUI Pad 14, which is essentially the same as MIUI 14 but has been refined for a better tablet experience and packs in additional tablet-like features. But not to worry, it's still skinned over Android 13, and since this is a global variant, all of Google goodies are packed in, such as Google Discover on the left of the home screen, Google Assistant which can be activated through a swipe-in gesture, and of course the Google Play Store which offers all the apps and games you have come to know and love. Other than Google, MIUI Pad 14 features many of the same things we see within the mobile version of the software skin, such as a clean app drawer, notification shade, and control center, as well as large folders which allow you to tap directly on an app within a folder without having to first open up the folder, split screen which can be activated through the recents window, floating windows which can also be activated through recents and can even be pinned to the side, as well as the ability to screen mirror your Xiaomi 13 series device to your tablet screen in a pop-up window, take full control of it, and even drag files directly from your phone onto your tablet, making this the ultimate multitasking device to increase your productivity. Speaking of being productive, Xiaomi's latest tablet now packs in a USB 3.2 Type-C port, which doubles up as a display port so that you can hook up your tablet to an external monitor. It can output up to a 4K resolution and a 60Hz refresh rate and comes out crispy clear. The only downside is that it sticks to the same 16:10 aspect ratio, which leaves us with black bars on either side of the screen. However, if you can get past this little nitpick, then it's easy to enjoy your new Xiaomi Pad 6 in all its glory on an external display for productive tasks that you would usually do on a laptop, such as creating a Word document using your Pad 6 keyboard accessory, or even hook up an external Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to get that full desktop experience. The biggest downside here is that you cannot set up the external monitor to be an extended display, which would allow you to use two displays at once, much like you would see on an actual laptop. But at the end of the day, this is a tablet, so screen mirroring will just have to do. Speaking about ending your day, when you're done being productive, you can also hook up an external controller and play your favorite games on your external monitor, which is a very cool thing to be able to do on a tablet. Now, of course, you can be just as productive without having access to an external monitor. That is, if you decide to pick up the Xiaomi Pad 6 keyboard. As mentioned at the start, the Pad 6 keyboard features 64 keys, and I was actually quite surprised on how well the keys are spaced out, making the typing experience similar to an actual laptop, especially since the keys feel solid and premium. Unfortunately, the keyboard is not backlit, however there is a small LED to indicate when caps lock is on. The awesome thing about this keyboard is its shortcuts ability, and to preview factory shortcuts, all you have to do is hold down on the command button. You can also change the shortcut combinations within settings and even create your own shortcut combos to open any app of your choice. So the keyboard is amazing to say the least, but for those artists out there, Xiaomi's second generation Smart Pen is a must-have accessory. While your Pad 6 is locked, you can simply detach your Smart Pen and tap on the screen to start taking down a note. But if you would like to save power, you can always disable this within the settings menu. The first button on the Smart Pen is used to start taking down a note, and once in Notes, you can tap it to flick between different writing tools or hold it to access the eraser tool, while the second button is used to switch between colors. In terms of the size of the pen, the feel, and the pressure sensitivity, it almost feels as good as putting pen to paper. The second button can also be used to take custom screenshots when you hold it down. You can take a screenshot of the entire screen, or just a portion of the screen using a square, a circle, or even freeform if you would like to be precise. As mentioned earlier, the pen can last up to 150 hours on a single charge, but what about the actual tablet? Well, it should last more than a day thanks to that massive 8840 mAh battery, and if you do need a top up, it boasts 33 watt fast wire charging. That massive battery is very much needed to keep your Pad 6 running its powerhouse Snapdragon 870 chipset. It might not be the latest and greatest CPU that Qualcomm has to offer, but it was and still is one of the best chips around thanks to it featuring 8 cores, with its main core reaching a staggering 3.2 GHz clock speed, which if you don't already know is actually the same clock speed we see within most top-end 2023 flagship smartphones. So it's no surprise to see it perform above average in terms of benchmark scores. It also has up to 8 GB of LPDDR5 RAM, which can be further increased thanks to memory extension, as well as up to 256 GB of UFS 3.1 storage. And even though the Xiaomi Pad 6 is running an older generation flagship chipset, it's still a champion in terms of gaming. Kickstarting things off with Real Racing 3, we were able to reach a solid 144 frames per second most of the time thanks to that crazy 144Hz screen refresh rate. But unfortunately, when playing Call of Duty Mobile, there is no 90 FPS option like we see available on most Android devices these days. I really hope to see this addressed with a future software update, but for now we'll have to settle with the 60 FPS cap. The good news is that when set to very high graphic quality and max FPS, we were able to reach a stable 60 FPS all of the time. However, when playing a game that has a 60 FPS cap on all devices, that being Genshin Impact, which is a very demanding game by the way, we were able to get between 50 and 60 FPS most of the time while playing on maxed out settings. The Xiaomi Pad 6 also packs in Bluetooth 5.2 and Wi-Fi 6, but unfortunately there is no option for cellular connectivity or NFC, which is okay since most tablets at this price point skip out on these features anyway. There is also no IR blaster or 3.5mm headphone jack, but there are 4 microphones and 4 speakers which offer an immersive stereo sound thanks to the inclusion of Dolby Atmos, so let's go ahead and give them a listen. The Xiaomi Pad 6 is one of the most impressive mid-range tablets you can get your hands on in 2023. It performs like a flagship, has a stunning display, is packed to the brim with useful features, and comes alongside some very welcomed accessories which offer great use in terms of creativity and productivity. And it does all this and more for a great price. Let me know your favorite features of the Xiaomi Pad 6 in the comment section down below, as well as if you're deciding to pick one up. This is TechNick and I'll catch you in the next one.